Do you work today?
I do. I gotta be at the stadium for 1:30.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad. I purposely took this morning off so that we'd have time to do this. I'd have time to clean my room.
Yeah,
get
like
ready.
recording in the morning today. We don't usually record this early.
No, we're
Usually at like 11 at night.
Real late. So I took off a shower. I washed my hair too this morning.
Oh, nice.
No, because
not nice.
I hate you don't wash your hair every day, obviously. But when I wash my hair, it gets in the summertime, it gets so poofy.
Yeah, that happens. The humidity.
Yeah, it just dries out right away, and then I got this whole waff action going on. So
it looks very European.
yes, thank you.
Oh wow,
that wasn't the intention.
A new style.
That's the way it is today.
I guess so. Well,
how's your week?
Oh, a pretty good week. I mean, it started off a bit hectic, but I don't even know what day of the week it is these days. Literally, like
today is Friday.
Today is Friday. I got the day off today, but I got a lot to do, and then this weekend we're working on the early shifts this weekend.
Oh no!
No, that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
5 to 1.
Okay.
5 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then we're golfing tomorrow. We got
3:36 first tee.
Let's go. We're feeling good. And then Sunday I'm headed up to the cottage after work, so that's exciting.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a nice place to go relax. So you're off Monday, Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I got that extra day. Yeah. I was like, please, look, my 2 days off. Can I just get one more day on there? And all good.
You're like the poor boy, please.
Please, sir, may I have one more day off, please? And they gave it to me,
well,
so
that's good. That's good. That'll be a nice drive out there. It's supposed to be a beautiful week, too. Like, all that rain we got. I don't know if you were outside at all today.
Not today.
I was outside this morning for a couple of minutes, and it's, like, kind of chilly. Like, I was out there in a hoodie.
Last night, we hit, like, 11 last night. It was cold.
Beautiful.
That was nice, though.
I will never complain.
No, but I am okay with leaving this weekend, this Sunday, because there's nothing going on Sunday. No race.
No race. Football season's still in the get up. So, I mean, preseason, there was only 2 preseason games, not preseason, right? No one's playing. It's usually the backup. So, yeah, great weekend for you to take off and just kind of revive.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's the UFC Saturday, but for Sunday, nothing going on with F1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we waiting on right now? Because we got all that dump of information.
Just before the mid-season break.
Like, as the mid-season break was starting. And then, basically, like, it hit the fan, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then we've got nothing since, really. Like, what do you think, what information do you think we're going to get next?
So, well, the power rankings are out for F1. So,
okay.
F1 does official power rankings internally. They have a judging panel who does power rankings. So, I was kind of looking at those. And they're kind of interesting.
Well, I do think that these are updated like race by race.
Yes, so they get judged per race. So this was this is what was released just after they went into break.
Yeah.
So obviously, let's just start off with this. Get the F1 ball rolling.
Sure.
So obviously, in first place,
Max,
the man. I'm not even gonna bother going into why he's in first. We all know he's in first. Second, Charles Leclerc.
You know what? Like you say that like it's obvious, but I might not have picked him. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, I say that, but who else could it be in second, right?
Well, I think, and I also think when they're doing power rankings, I think they're less focused on like team strategy at Ferrari. And things like accidents that go wrong, maybe like that you were involved, that wasn't maybe your fault. So I think, I could be wrong, but I think when they're doing power rankings, they're just basing it purely off driver in car.
Like performance.
Yeah, no other.
Well, that makes sense
surrounding it.
Because he has like the second most wins, right?
So yeah. That makes the most sense. Qualifyings and poles and whatnot. So he's in second. And then this is where things get really interesting for me.
Yeah.
George Russell in third.
Oh.
George.
Don't even get me started on this guy. Okay, but you know what? I don't think that's too crazy just because of the consistency we've seen from him. Like, I don't think that if we were to rate them how they are at this moment, that he would be third.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, from the first half of the season, I think that's not a bad spot for him.
No, it's not bad at all. And the thing is, too, just because I forgot to mention, so Max was graded an 8.8. Charles graded an 8.3, and then Russell's graded an 8.0.
That's kind of a big stretch from 1 to 3.
It's a huge stretch
Yeah.
going in. That's a full point. And then fourth, we have Lewis.
Wow. Okay, so the Mercedes split.
Yeah. And actually, in the headline, they say king of consistency. Both of the Mercedes drivers.
Really? Well, look, Mercedes, they would get every point they can, right?
They're just behind, picking up the breadcrumbs.
Exactly. You can't blame them.
So Lewis gets a 7.9. In fifth, Lando.
Wow.
He's been consistently fifth throughout everything this season.
Well, yeah.
Pretty up there.
He's been consistently the driver that's the top. What do they always say? Best of the rest, right?
Best of the rest, like the best mid-class.
Yeah, right out of the those top 3 cars, Lando's always been, not always, but has been consistently the one who's at the top of that.
Yep, that is true. So Lando's given a 7.7, and he sits 7th in standings. So 7's all around for Lando. In 6th, we have Fernando Alonso, standings in 10th, and he's given a 7.5 grade.
You know what? Alonso, that makes sense.
I thought Alonso was going to get pushed over Lando, if I had to be honest.
Well, because like what you just said about driver like performance, he's had some, like Alonso's had some very impressive performances.
Yep.
Just because the points haven't necessarily kept up with how good he's been driving, that doesn't mean that like he hasn't been driving like his ass off.
No, he's been putting up a crazy year, good individual performances, which I think is his focus. So I actually thought that he would be given above Lando.
Yeah, I just think maybe not enough points.
Yeah, and the standings, he's just sitting on 10th place in the standings.
He's still behind Esteban.
Yeah.
In the ranking, the standings. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. And I mean, McLaren, both those teams, McLaren and Alpine, they got enough to figure out for this midsummer break. So.
Yeah, I got some notes on that.
And then this is a little shocking. In 7th, Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like 7th might be a little low. He's ranked 5th in the standings, so the last 3 guys above him higher. And he's given a 7.3. And I thought his last couple of races, he's really driven really well.
Yeah, he's been finding that consistency where ever since his win, you can tell he has that confidence,
a little pep.
Which it should do. A win should give you that confidence. So, I mean, you can't deny how much he was struggling though for a while there. Like he hit that stretch where DNFs and back of the pack. It's like
the engine blew up when he was racing really well.
Just bad luck for a while there. But if he can keep up the pace that he's been doing the last couple races, I think next season we can really see a fight for that first Ferrari spot. That might be a bit controversial because Leclerc's like their guy, you know, he's their golden boy.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's too crazy to think that Carlos could push for that number 1 spot. Like I don't think that's crazy at all.
No, I don't think that's crazy at all. And I just refer to Mercedes right now. Like Lewis is obviously the number 1 guy, but like we're not going to pretend like Russell's not putting up points.
Exactly, right? Like that's you know what? That's actually a really good point. Like if you look at Mercedes, Lewis is obviously like their number 1 driver, but that doesn't mean that they can't put like stock into George.
Yeah, you're building. It's like, because F1's weird than other sports, right? You can't just take, like if you're a quarterback that comes into the NFL, you might sit the bench a season, see how it unfolds. You have a veteran presence. F1, you have a veteran presence to a point, depending on your teammate. But it's a dog eat dog out there. Like even in other sports, yes, you're still fighting for that number 1 position. But the rules, the unwritten rules, are a bit more clear.
Yeah.
In some sports, and this one not so much.
At the end of the day, you might have your team, you might have your goal for your team, for your teammates, but you're in that car.
Yeah,
you're behind the wheel, man. Yeah. You can make those decisions.
There's no passenger in this one. And with other teams, you're a team of, like in football, you're 50 plus guys with all your coaches and whatnot like that. Hockey, you're a 20-something man roster. So F1's a little different that way. So yeah, Carlo in 7th. Hopefully that'll change. Hopefully he'll put together a good second stretch here, because I think, like you said, he did find his confidence. This is also interesting too. Tied for 7th.
Tied for 7th. I know where this is going.
Where's it going?
It's Checo.
It's Checo.
For sure.
It's Checo.
It's the secondary drivers for those top teams. I think that's a bit weird, but okay.
Yeah, I think both of them being down there is a bit weird. But Checo's in 3rd for standings.
Yeah, right.
So
I feel like he should be higher up.
Why is he 7th? Yeah. And he's given a 7.3, also like Carlos 7.3. So that's a little weird. I didn't think, it's weird that they're there. like that position. I mean, maybe Carlo makes more sense there, but Sergio.
I do think Carlos makes sense there because of some of his like early season woes. But Checo's hit some. He's tripped up a few times, and he's had some bad luck a few times. But I think overall he's been relatively consistent. He's definitely been what Red Bull needs in Max's second driver.
Yes,
he's been that as much as he could have been.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Is he's in 7th, but he's done a few team order moves. You know, he's
helped Max a lot.
He's helped a lot, so I think that's a little weird for him to be down there. And then jumping in to 9th position is Esteban.
I love Esteban.
Esteban Ocon. Well, we're going to talk about that right after we get into the power rankings because I got a hot take. And I don't want to call it a hot take, but I call it an interesting take.
Okay, because I've been, with all the Alpine stuff going on right now, I've been, listening to a lot of, what Otmar has to say about the drivers. And I do like Esteban a lot. Consistently getting points. But, again, it makes sense that he's lower than Alonso. It makes sense that he's further back on this rankings because he hasn't had those individual performances that make him stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Alonso put it in the front row in Canada.
Yep.
Here. In the Great White North.
But Esteban is sitting 2 positions higher in the standings.
No, exactly. He's been consistent. Yeah. He's been consistent.
Yep. And it's a 7.1 score. So that's a big jump from Sergio and Carlo tied for 7-8.
Yeah.
And then to 9th, that's 7.1. So that's interesting too. And then 10th position, I was a little surprised. Kevin Mag.
K-Mag.
Yeah, I was a little surprised.
Yeah, a guy who started the season off well. He's had some good performances since that early stretch, but he hasn't really been a game breaker or anything.
I mean, did they run into drivers to put 10th? I don't know. Off the top of my head.
You know who should be there?
Who?
Ricardo. If he was driving the way he should be, then that McLaren should be in those top 10 spots.
Yes, if that's true. If the expectations lined up with the season, yeah, sure, absolutely. So that's the power rankings. Super interesting. I just always love to see power rankings by league. Yeah. It's kind of fun. Like the NFL does it, NHL does it. They release their little power rankings, and sometimes you're like, "What?
What the hell is this?"
Yeah. So I thought that was very cool. So continuing that with F1 now, you had the driver's seat conversation you said you've been listening to.
Oh my God.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, look. Danny, where you going, Brenda? Danny Rick, man, where you gonna be? Okay, so seats up for grabs right now. If you look around the whole league, whatever. If you look around the whole sport, Williams could have a seat.
Okay. Because you think...
Because
Latifi?
The GOAT Latifi, they don't want Latifi. They don't need a paid driver anymore. They've said it, that they don't need Latifi to pay. So there's a spot that could be open. And they were talking about Oscar Piastri going there earlier in the season. It's not that crazy.
Yeah, way before.
So Williams might have a spot open. Albon signed in that other spot. AlphaTauri could see Pierre Gasly go somewhere. Yuki also doesn't necessarily... I don't think he has a contract for next year.
He does not have a contract for next year.
McLaren is looking to get rid of Daniel Ricciardo. That's come on, that's basically common knowledge at this point. And then that Alpine spot is the only one that's officially open.
Yeah, because even though McLaren keeps saying we're looking to move Danny, there is a sliver of chance that he doesn't get moved.
Well, he's signed for next year at McLaren.
He's still under contract, so there is that chance where they're like, you know what, we'll go back to the drawing board. Not your fault. We'll take responsibility a little bit, but I doubt that because no accountability anywhere in F1 engineers and team principals. So
honestly, but so okay.
So I had an interesting take because not on your list is Alfa Romeo. Yeah, and the team has not confirmed that Zoe will be back.
Yeah, I think it's almost I'd say it's almost a given though.
You think so?
I think so. He's been driving relatively well for his rookie season. Mm-hmm. He's shown the second half, I guess. The second quarter of the season that he's been able to keep up with Bottas sometimes, even though he hasn't had as standout performances as Valtteri. He's been showing that he can keep up, and I just think that there's a paid driver also, somebody who brings in a lot of fresh eyes to the sport, only Chinese driver in the sport.
I want to say you're right, yeah.
And so I don't think that he's going anywhere for Romeo. if he does, that would have an interesting spot open because there's a driver named Mick Schumacher who might be looking to get out of Haas. And then that causes a whole thing where...
So I think Schumacher looks to get out of Haas, all depending on the second half of the season. This all depends on how he races. If he doesn't race well, you kind of want to be the fly on the wall. I have a seat. I'm going to sit here. I didn't race great last year. I'm going to come back 2022, 2023.
Solidify.
And I'm going to race with Haas because I have no other ground really to stand on.
Get my leverage.
Yeah.
Show how good I am.
If he dominate being a loosely used word here, if he's consistently good, he might be able to shop himself around a little bit.
Yep.
But I just thought it was interesting that they didn't announce he was coming back for Alfa Romeo. Because, if he doesn't, if they say, we're exploring options, that's a real shaker.
Most teams, and I say this as somebody who has not watched F1 very long, but I'm pretty sure most teams announce their lineups, in, September.
Yeah, later.
And I know Gunther from Haas, excuse me, Gunther said that they'd be announcing their lineup in September, and that they're going to take a look at it again in the after the break. And I don't know if Mick is going to be able to do enough in that time to, change anybody's minds. If he does, that's great. But I don't know. That's something that we can speculate on, but I don't know if we can actually get an actual answer out of it.
2-3 races, see how it goes.
We'll see.
And also, again, not like other sports, there's no deadline.
Yeah, so we'll see.
There's no trade deadline. There's no your roster has to be finalized for playoffs. There's none of that really.
Yeah.
Everything's just a contract. So
the only other thing I'll say about the whole driver swapping situation and the musical chairs that is the F1 driver's seats.
Yep.
There is a possibility, and I don't think this is a bad idea, that Oscar is under contract with Alpine, technically, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've invested millions of dollars into his development, and he has so rudely, according to Alpine, ditched them and kicked them to the curb. We're assuming for McLaren at this point, maybe more than assuming, but there's an idea going around that I think he's a 9-time race winner. 9-time race winner Daniel Ricciardo might be a good fit to go back to Alpine, and if they start doing the legal troubles and legal battles over Oscar Piastri's contract, they might be able to figure out an arrangement where they do a driver swap, where Piastri goes to McLaren and Ricciardo goes to Alpine, and then we're all hunky-dory, happy, ready to go.
Yeah, I don't see that as not a possibility because this got messy really quick.
Yeah, and then we haven't gotten anything. No, so it's just
everything's kind of up in the air.
They took a dump on the table and just left it. It's can we get some more information on this? You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I say that maybe if the Tauri seats go up, I can't see Ricciardo going back to Tauri.
No,
I can't see that.
I've heard that too. But I would actually die if he ended up in an Alpha Tauri. Come on.
Yeah,
driving
I can't
with Pierre.
See that. But him going to Alpine makes sense, right? I think that makes sense right now. That's what makes sense. Yeah,
and they said that they'd want to have him back. I mean, we're just speculating. We've got no words. I think Alpine's tweet announcing Oscar Piastri is still on their Twitter. So I don't know what's going on there.
So behind closed doors, I wonder if they're no, you're literally signed to us.
I think that's what they're saying now.
And Piastri's well, no, I actually just signed this contract. Because that's the other thing. We haven't heard anything about Piastri. So did he make a mistake and did he double sign and now we're in a legal battle here?
Maybe, but
so that's interesting.
Otmar said he was pretty ticked off, and I don't have the exact quote, but paraphrasing, he basically said I don't need a contract to tell me to not go back on my word. You know what I mean? If he said he'd be driving for us, I don't need him to sign some legal documents. He said he was going to drive for us. So, in 2023.
That's not how business works.
Yeah, but
everyone holds a little knife behind and just goes, "Oh, I have it behind."
It's still not a good look for. It might not be a good look for Oscar.
But Zoe and Zoe also says the same kind of thing. He's I don't need a contract right now to be happy with my performance and to be confident that the team will bring me back. I don't need that contract talk right now.
Okay, that's a good.
He's if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'll be good. And he said in an article that he feels like he's gone through a 10-year span this season with everything that's happened to him, all the DNFs, the crazy crash.
The good performances, too.
Good performances,
good
getting
qualities.
points. And he even said in the article, he says, I'm confident enough to say that if it weren't for the DNFs, I'd be higher in the point standings. And I said, hey,
that's nice.
Who are we to argue with that?
Yeah, I think he's been driving well. He's been a good little surprise, especially after some like lackluster rookie performances in the last couple of years. I say that not really being able to name any. Like, well, obviously there's like Nikita, and Mick not getting any points last year. I guess that was the Haas car, but like it's cool to see, and Yuki too, like having some issues, but it's cool to see a rookie come in and do pretty well. Hopefully we can see a rookie come in and tear it up next year with Oscar.
I'm excited to see that, and I have nothing really left on seats because, like we said, it's all speculation. Yeah. We'll have to play it out a couple more weeks until September, see how that really goes. But Ferrari, I guess, announced that they will bring in a complete engine upgrade going into Belgium. I'm pumped. Hopefully that means the thing doesn't blow up. So I'm excited for that. No details.
And no strategy changes. I don't need it.
So Binotto said, why should we change? He said that in an article. He's like, oh, if I look back at the season, we don't really need to change anything. We've been racing well, and it's all about performance. And it's like, dude, you blind.
Yeah, like, it's kind of crazy.
No, you're too busy going to the bathroom.
It's just a bit of, I don't want to use the word ignorance, but it's a bit of like ignorance is bliss type deal where they just don't acknowledge it.
So I'm excited they're doing that. And then the last thing I want to say is Mercedes hasn't really said much this mid-season break. They haven't said much. I haven't read anything about upgrades, anything like that. I assume they're going to be bringing a new package in for at least Lewis, I would imagine.
Mercedes win early.
Early?
Yep. First 3 races.
So if you go back to the first episode, I said I don't think Mercedes can win a race with both other top teams being in the race consistently. Depending on this package, my opinion may change just because.
Doesn't matter. I already said it.
That's fine. Just because it all comes at this point, it just comes down to like engineering, I think, from the teams, right? If somebody releases a good package and they can get another second up on somebody, that could change the entire thing, because there was a couple times where like Russell got pole. He beat Carlo and Charles, beat both Red Bulls in that quali. So definitely don't think it's out of order, but I still think if Ferrari and Red Bull are consistent and in the race, I still think it's hard for Mercedes to win.
We will see. There was a big UFC card that I say big. I always say big. There was a UFC card that happened this past weekend. All finishes. All finishes,
eh?
Yeah.
This is the one card I didn't watch, I think, in the last couple months.
No, I know. Me neither. But I went back and I watched a lot of the fights. Good stuff. And I think the light heavyweight division is slowly getting revived.
Slowly.
Oh my God, very, very slowly. A snail's pace. But Jamal Hill cleaned out Thiago Santos. Santos, who has been having a bit of a rough stretch basically ever since fighting John Jones. God, I think he only has 1 win since then, but it was a good fight. Jamal Hill won after he beat Johnny Walker in his last fight, so he's coming off some nice performances, and Yuri's got the belt in light heavyweight, and I really think that this what would we call it, like the uncertainty at the top of the light heavyweight division is really making it interesting. There's really like some top talent that's like itching to go, and it was a whole good card, and then that last fight really got me pumped for the light heavyweights. I think there's a lot going on right now. On the last card, Anthony Smith, well, that was tough, but Anthony Smith losing to Ankalaev, that just makes Ankalaev's stock go up. And Anthony Smith is still in that top 5 of the light heavyweight, so that's an interesting division now. It's gone from like nothing going on to like, okay, there's some fights to make here.
Well, Yuri was like, I think that was a great spark.
Yeah.
I think that was a good spark for that division. he only had 2 fights in the UFC before he had that interim?
Like 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, and so he comes in. That's a great spark. Glover's good, but I don't know if he can beat Yuri.
Well, so with the light heavyweights right now, it's very interesting. Originally, everybody thought that Yuri was going to be fighting Jan Blachowicz, who was the champion before Glover, because he got the win over Rakic after. Okay. This is interesting though. This is the good part about UFC. The divisions are interesting when there's some confusion, when there's some like I say, uncertainty at the top of the division. That's good. Jan was the champ for a while, beat Izzy, had a good little run as champ, lost to Glover, so he backs out. Glover then gets the challenge from Yuri, so that they're going to be fighting for the title. Jan, meanwhile, looking to get a title shot again, takes on Rakic, who was like streaking his way through the division. Beats Rakic in kind of a controversial way.
That was a few fights ago.
Yeah, and Rakic got hurt in the fight. I think that's his first loss too. So it was a little bit controversial. It wasn't like a dominating victory from Jan. Some people say Jan was losing the fight before that happened. I kind of agree with that. I was watching. I kind of think he might have been losing. But now Jan is saying, I want that next title shot. Yuri beats Glover. Yuri's the champ now. Yuri says, I want to fight Jan for my first title defense. But Glover says, I want a rematch for the belt. Glover has basically come out and said he only wants one more fight and then he's going to retire. So
I think that's a bad move because Dana doesn't like that.
Dana doesn't like it, but Glover's been in the UFC so long, he's old. It's like it's going to be interesting.
But
because
you win that fight and then announce your retirement. Because I think if you Dana doesn't like the whole interim, leaving, retiring with a belt type nonsense.
He hates when you retire with the belt.
Exactly.
But he did say this before he even got the belt. He was like, get the belt, one title defense at the start of this year, which he lost, and then one more title defense. I think he said like December he was going to do his second title defense and then retire.
Okay.
But he obviously lost his first title defense. Now he wants to win the belt back for his last fight, which you got to give him some respect. He's been in the league for a long time. So it's crazy. So that's the top of the division is Yuri's champ, Glover's number 1 contender, Jan is number 2 contender, and then Ankalaev is number 3 after beating Anthony Smith. Rakic, who lost to Jan, is 4th. Anthony Smith, who lost to Ankalaev, is 5th, and now Jamal Hill, who just beat Santos, is 6th. So a lot of these guys already have fights in this top 5, top 6. It's a pretty like packed up division.
Yeah.
And they just have to fight. They just have to fight.
Do it.
Don't wait around and be like, I want the title shot next. I want it. No, I want it. It's like, no, come on. Fight each other. Earn your title shot. And it's going to make the light heavyweight division very interesting for the time being. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that's good because like we talked about it before too. Maybe not here, but we talked about it saying like that light heavyweight and the heavyweight division is kind of like a man division.
It's like stagnant.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I get it. And excuse me, hiccup there. A heavyweight too, you got Ngannou.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this when we were watching. And we're like, when he comes back, it's like, who's going to beat him?
No, he's literally the Predator.
Yeah, like, nobody's
gonna touch.
You're not gonna, and because we're sitting there watching heavyweight fights, the Contender Series heavyweight fight.
Yes,
and we're sitting there and we're looking at these guys and like, you put Ngannou next to him, he does not look like a heavyweight.
No, I think that one guy we're talking about the Dana White Contender Series where Bo Nickel was headlining. There was one heavyweight who I think was actually a light heavyweight. So
okay.
When you say that, I remember hearing Dana talk about it after and was like, he's in the wrong weight class or something like that. But
he's fighting up too much weight. But but this is good for the light heavyweight because those guys still very like agile. Like some of the heavyweights obviously are too, but like that's an interesting division for just like their physique. I find is very interesting.
Yeah, they're big guys, but they're a bit leaner.
Yeah, and they can still throw the head kicks. They can still like some heavyweights can do that too. Don't get me wrong, but this is a little bit more.
Yeah, it's fun.
Intuitive, not so much stand up fighting.
Yeah. Speaking of heavyweights, though, also on that Jamal Hill card was Usman's brother.
I saw that.
Mohammed Usman. The Ultimate Fighting Champion. Is that what the show's called? The Ultimate, yeah, Tough.
Yeah.
Never even seen like a second of that show. I don't
We
know
don't get it.
I don't know what channel it's on.
ESPN Fight Pass, I think.
Never heard of it. But he got that win, like that KO that Usman's brother got. I don't want to call him Usman's brother. Mohammed Usman. Remember the name? That was crazy. That was savage.
That was
boom.
done.
Over.
So quick. His hand, like that left hand came out of nowhere and he dropped like a light.
Yeah.
Like a bag of potatoes. Done.
Honestly though, I think I could take him.
Yeah?
Mohammed Usman? That guy?
Let's sign it up right now. So, I don't know.
Post up.
I'm assuming you saw his press conference after, and I respect the heck out of the press conference because he sits there and he goes, you guys are all just like, oh, I'm Usman's brother, so like that's why I'm here and stuff like that. He's like, I have to go out there and knock this guy out.
Yep.
This isn't a sport or a job, like a lot of jobs, where based off who you know, you get to move up the rankings. He sits there and he pretty much just tells the press, like, yeah, you can stop calling me Usman's brother. You can stop saying that I'm just here because of Usman. All that stuff. And I respect the heck out of it.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome for someone to sit there and be like, yeah, I'm still here knocking people out, so put some damn respect on my name.
If you want to move up the rankings in the UFC, you got to win.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing else.
And I think, too, this is the secret of UFC that we both know. You have to project yourself as a winner.
Yeah.
Like, you might win, and then you go hide in the corner for 6 months, you don't say anything. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. But if you win,
great. Then they forget about you. You bet.
Exactly.
What's the point?
What's the point? You got to take that momentum what you can. And even like we saw with Sugar Sean's last fight, it wasn't a win. It was a no decision. And he comes out swinging like, I'm relevant. This is my division. Like, I'm here.
I don't want to talk about Sugar Sean too much, but he does do that so well. That was a no contest where he really didn't do that much in the fight. Neither did Pedro. And then he says, I was dominating him.
Yeah.
I didn't get touched in that fight. His leg kicks were hurting him more than it was hurting me. I deserve to go up in the rankings. He's trash. And then he gets a fight with the number one contender.
Yeah.
Look, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. What did Pedro say after the fight?
Nothing.
He poked my eye.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's it. Like,
Give me something.
Yeah, give me something to work with. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Usman's brother, good for him. Coming out. I say Usman's brother again.
Mohammed Usman. Yes.
Remember, write it down.
Jeez, he's going to beat the crap out of us.
Good for him. Very happy. And it's another thing that's going to shake up the UFC, so I'm all for it.
Yep, definitely. And then we did mention the Dana White Contender Series with Bo Nickel. We both watched that. What a great performance from Bo Nickel. That was like, whoever he was fighting was not ready, man.
No, just absolute domination. I think it was like, what, a minute and 45 seconds, something like that. Something crazy. And then the word, okay. Dana, let me talk to you.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't watch the Contender Series, you watch 2 hours of the event. You watch your 5-6 fights, whatever's on the card. And then there's like a 20-minute, 15-minute ending where it's Dana on a mic and he's literally handing out UFC contracts.
Like, he reviews the fights and
to those who impressed him. And we're guessing like, oh, this fight, whatever. And he goes through the fights and then he gets to Bo Nickel, who just dominated his opponent in a minute.
Didn't even sweat.
Literally, he's like, I could fight right now, no problem. And Dana goes, man, this guy, great fight, great contender. This is amazing. But we're going to keep you in the Contender Series. It's like, isn't the whole point? And he was the main event.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you look at it like that. And because you can like make him look like pretty funny when you just say like, he was on the Contender Series where if you have an impressive performance, you get a UFC contract. Comes in, has an impressive performance. Dana's like, that was an impressive performance. No UFC
just
contract.
Kidding, yeah.
It's like, it's kind of weird. It's like, why even have him on the show?
And he was a main event, so it's not like, oh, you weren't supposed to do this well this early. You were the first fight on the card. No, you were the main event.
So when you put it like that, yes, it sounds funny, but he really has only had two or three now MMA fights. Super young, right out of college.
Didn't stop
university,
Yuri.
Whatever. True.
Yuri had 2 fights walking
no.
an interim fight, right?
No. 2 UFC fights.
2 UFC fights.
Yuri's had a bunch of MMA experience in the past, but so I get it, especially because we really saw like no adversity whatsoever.
No,
he just came in and like literally a knife through butter. Like it was hot knife through butter, just cleaned him.
Yeah.
So
said that too. He said we're gonna be able to see next fight for Bo Nickel if he can take a punch.
Exactly, and that's okay as long as he comes back this season of Dana White's Contender Series, which I think is the plan. They're gonna get him in within the next few weeks, have him back, maybe get more ratings that episode. Like
maybe
that was a cool performance. Mm-hmm. Good to see him fight again.
So great performance. Contender Series is always fun because those guys have something to fight for. Well, I mean, all UFC guys do obviously because it's a win or lose sport. That's it. But Contender Series is always fun to watch because they are fighting for their chance to make it to the UFC. So they always have that extra stake in
the game.
So yeah, and then why don't we jump to the card coming up tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, let's do a quick. Today's Friday. Tomorrow, man, I'm hyped. This is my favorite division. The 135ers, bantamweights. Dom Cruz, the man with happy feet. Dom Cruz is fighting Chito Vera. Cruz is ranked 8th right now in bantamweight, and Vera, Chito there is ranked 5th, coming off a win over Rob Font. It's a crazy division, and basically everybody in that top 10 is like, I don't know if it's top 10 or top 5, but everybody's like booked up right now, which is awesome to see. Going to be some great fights coming out of that division within the next couple months, especially in 280. Sugar Sean fighting Peter Yan. Plus the belt's going to be up for grabs. TJ Dillashaw coming in trying to take it from Aljo. So this is going to be a really good fight to see if Dom Cruz can push back up to the top of this division, which by all intents and purposes, he should be able to do.
You think so?
He is a legend for a reason. He's been out. He hasn't been as consistent. That's fine. And Marlon Vera is a dog, showing that, being able to take a punch against Rob Font and then being able to come out on top of that and like piece Rob Font up, coming off a crazy KO against Frankie Edgar too. Like, this guy's a dog. He thinks he's the best in the world at this weight class, and it'll be a good test for him. It'll be a good test against somebody who's a thinker in there. Dom Cruz is a
slugger,
cerebral fighter though.
Okay.
And he moves like nobody's business. Got a crazy stance and way he fights. So it'll be a very interesting fight. Both these guys are fighting for their chance at maybe a title eliminator coming up.
Yeah, and I didn't notice. I just looked at here. I didn't notice how many fights both these guys have in the UFC. They both have a good record. Like,
Dom Cruz has been
Dom Cruz
forever.
Is 24-3-0, and then Marlon Vera is 19-7-1. Like, both those guys, that's a crazy amount of experience in that ring. So that'll be interesting to see.
And Dominic Cruz has never lost. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I read this on Twitter.
Then you're right.
So it's
100%.
I don't think Dominic Cruz has ever lost a fight that isn't a title shot. So,
interesting.
It'll be very interesting.
So he gets a little overwhelmed with title shots then?
Well, he's had like the belt multiple times.
Yeah.
But no, like he's only lost. It's either he's only lost title shots or he's only lost to former champs. Something like that.
I mean, both those are respectable.
Both those are good. Are good stats.
Yeah, those are both respectable.
And Cruz is coming off a decision win over Pedro Munoz. Okay. That was a cool fight too.
That'll be an interesting main event.
There's not much.
Do you have anything else on the card?
No,
not much that caught your eyes.
I'll watch it, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of these other fights. I love seeing the new fighters that I say new, but new fighters who are new to me. But no, I don't know anybody else on the card.
No.
I don't take that as a slight against the card. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still gonna watch, and like, if there's a good performance, I'll remember your name. You know what I mean? Like,
well, we were watching Contender Series last week, so it's like, just because you don't have a big name out there, we watch.
Give yourself a name.
Yeah, exactly.
We're always watching.
So that's good. UFC is good. It's always fun. So yeah, tomorrow, lots of UFC. That'll be fun. So we're gonna go golfing. We're gonna wake up. We're gonna have a great breakfast.
Of course.
We're gonna go golfing. We're gonna come back, probably get some food, and then we're gonna sit down and watch UFC. Really, that's a nice Saturday.
Sounds very nice.
That's a nice Saturday. So switching gears now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just jump on over to football.
Go for it.
Football's getting more in there, right? We're coming down to almost a month before football kicks off.
A lot of news. Holy smokes.
And man, are we excited. I'm just so excited. And the thing, so last season for football season, I wasn't enjoying it because I had too much fantasy football, too much Bet99 going on. Too much. Too much of that stuff.
Mogul moves over here.
Yeah, I had too much going on. So then I'm watching, and even if it's not Green Bay, and I'm watching other games, it's like I found it so hard to enjoy the game because I'd be like, oh, what an amazing catch. Oh, it's against that guy plays for the team that I'm playing fantasy against, and now I'm pissed for the day. So it's like I couldn't do that. So I dropped 2 fantasy leagues this year.
How many did you have?
I had 4 last year.
Holy smokes,
It was
man.
too much.
Yeah.
I realized it was too much now. But so I dropped 2. Now
you learn.
Yeah, so I'm down to 2. And they're fun leagues. Coworkers and some friends. So they're fun leagues. So just a disclaimer. That's why I'm so amped for football season this year. Because I'm going to get to enjoy it a lot more than previous years. So getting into it, the biggest story actually breaking 2 days ago, yesterday. Tom Brady will not be at training camp until August 20th. He's taking a personal leave. There was really not a whole lot of information other than it's not an emergency, not a passing in the family. But he's going to miss until August 20th. Todd Bowles, the head coach of Tampa Bay Buccaneers, said this was planned. We knew it was coming. It's okay. Some people are like, well, why didn't he take off the first 2 weeks? Now he's taking the middle 2 weeks. Look, the first 2 weeks are way more important. You're building that team.
Yeah, right.
You're the leader of the team. You need to be there when the guys show up.
Gotta have the face. Yeah, people expect to see Tom Brady
when they walk in the building.
Yeah, and when they get to Tampa Bay,
exactly,
greet him at the airport.
Yeah, I don't think the guy's driven his own car probably in like 15 years. So, but yeah, so he'll miss, and Ian Rappaport reported that it was a work-life balance thing. Don't forget, the man did retire and came out of retirement, so maybe they booked a vacation and
retired for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and then came back literally the next morning. So yeah, it's all right, but that'll be interesting to see how that affects the dynamic, if it affects the dynamic of the Bucs. But I thought that was fine.
Yeah, for sure. Anything with Tom Brady is a headline, top news. Tom Brady blows his nose.
Put it in a museum.
Get it out there.
It's on the Hall of Fame. So yeah, switching now down to Deshaun Watson. The NFL has appealed his 6-game suspension.
Good.
They are looking for a full season suspension. Wow. Good for the NFL. But like we talked about last episode, this goes against the whole NFLPA, the contracts, the lawyers. Everybody's going to be pissed about it. No matter which lens you look at it, people are going to be upset. So Deshaun Watson is set to start in the preseason game of the Cleveland Browns. So that's interesting. He's suspended 6 games no matter what. Well, I say no matter what. Yeah. 6 games minimum.
Yeah.
But he can start in the preseason? I didn't read much into it because I don't know the law. I don't know the rules of the NFL. But it's like, dude, you're suspended. How can you start in a preseason game? I guess because it's an appeal process, so the suspension won't start until the appeal's over. But what happens if the appeal goes past week 1? Does Deshaun play week 1? So I don't think it will, but I thought that was an interesting construct.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, so it's like, whatever. He's going to start the preseason. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. Lots of distraction, lots of Cleveland Brown distractions. Sticking with the Browns, Kareem Hunt requested a trade. Denied. You're not going anywhere. We're keeping you. So he wanted to trade out of there. I don't know what the relation of the trade was, but he wanted out of Cleveland. Cleveland said, nah.
Buy your apartment.
Yeah, you're actually going to live in the basement of the stadium.
Yeah, so we got a cot for you, brother.
Yeah, get a pillow and a sleeping bag, and that's where you stand. So that'll be interesting because when guys want to trade and you say no, they're just playing mad all the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right? Like, he stomps his feet into the locker room. I don't know if that's a good dynamic for any sports team. If a guy wants out and you're forced to keep him, depending on what his attitude is, he could be bad news in the locker room. So
tell that to Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're not talking basketball.
One more thing with the Browns. Exactly. One more thing with the Browns. Their kick returner / wide receiver who's on the depth chart, Jakeem Grant. Crazy speed. Really good last season. Signed a contract extension. He's out for the season.
Oh, that sucks.
Achilles tear this week in spring training. I call it spring training. So
it is August.
Yeah.
Spring somewhere.
Exactly. So he tears his Achilles. He'll be out for the season. Very sad when a guy just signs a new contract and they had a good last season and he's up and coming. So very sad to see it. So we're just gonna rifle through some of the news that came out this week.
Go for it.
All right, Pittsburgh seems to have found a starter. Not announced yet, but he's taken all the number one reps. Mitch Trubisky, formerly with Chicago Bears, was the backup with the Bills, comes over to Pittsburgh. That's good for Pittsburgh. Lots of experience. You got an experienced head coach, coaching staff. That'll be good. Pittsburgh's in a weird spot with their roster. They're in a rebuild. You know, you're going to try and scramble as much as you can. And
no more ketchup. No more ketchup in the stadium. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Heinz Field. But, so that's good for them. I'm anxious to see Trubisky because he's never really gotten a fair shake.
Yeah, right.
He goes to Chicago.
It's more like a bit of a sink or swim situation we could see. But, hey, if he can swim, then that'll be interesting, right? Like,
because he goes to Chicago where the fans just tear you apart.
Yeah, right.
You're the coaching staff in Chicago that isn't there anymore. Fired. You were a backup, then you were starter. Your roster around you wasn't great. So now you're going to Pittsburgh. You have some young guys around you. You have a coach around you. And once you're labeled a starter, your confidence is going to go up. So good for him.
Probably not too much pressure either.
No. Like your expectations of success this season are probably 500.
Yeah, so just get some good reps in there. Make some good plays.
I mean, Pittsburgh fans would like to see you do more, but the NFL, if you win 7-8 games, we'll be super happy.
Yeah.
If you win 6 games, I think people will be happy. So I don't think there's too much pressure, which is good for a QB like him.
Totally.
NFL Films released Hard Knocks. I don't know if you follow Hard Knocks at all.
No.
Hard Knocks goes through training camp with an NFL team every year. And this year it is the Detroit Lions.
Oh, okay. So why would they do that?
Well, so they
I'm just joking.
They release an episode every week. It came out at 10 p.m. and on Tuesday, I think it was, and it's like in bed.
Up for the premiere.
Like I'm sleeping.
My reminder is set.
Yeah, so that was interesting, but good for the Lions because as we know, the Lions have struggled to their entire franchise. No shade thrown. That's just how it is. I am a Green Bay fan, so you're in my division, so I don't care about you. But no, they got a new coaching staff, Dan Campbell, who's electric. The guy's crazy. He's emotional. He's attached to the team. He really wears his heart on his sleeve, which I think is what Detroit needed. They needed somebody that just really represented we're flipping the page on a new era. So you really get a taste of that, I feel like, going into this first episode. Some crazy things. If you haven't seen it, I recommend watching it. You can watch it in a lot of places, I do believe. I think it's still on DAZN, The Zone. Don't get mad at me. So I think you can watch it there. But good for Lions is good for the league because you don't want a team that straggles out of the league, right? So this is good. Rope them back in. Up-and-coming young team. Hopefully they can make something work this year. I'll be really happy.
2 wins this year, boys. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Like, you want to talk about a team with success levels, expectations.
Yeah.
You win 2 to 4 games and you're dancing.
That's Super Bowl, baby.
You are laughing. So, yep. Good for them. I'm excited for the Detroit Lions just because growing up so close to them, it's going to be good for the city. I'm happy for the city. Mm-hmm. Moving forward, Matt Stafford, quarterback for the Rams, dealing with some elbow soreness. Did not throw a couple times this week. Something to be worried about? Maybe. Not yet. Everybody will calm down. He still has a month. Ice that elbow. He used to be a baseball player. I'm sure he's dealt with, Tommy John before. Not too worried about it, but he took a couple rest days today. So just something to keep an eye out if you're a Rams fan. It's hard to win the Super Bowl and come back. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of football on the way to the Super Bowl. So
yeah, and a lot of days off. And, you only play Sunday. So if a quarterback has to take a day off to rest, not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. So the Ravens are going to get J.K. Dobbins back, running back. He cleared his physical to come back after he tore his ACL, I want to say. Something like that. It was a bad injury. So he'll be back. Ravens also signed their kicker, Justin Tucker, who set the record for the longest field goal last year. Signed him to a 4-year, $24 million contract, $17.5 million guaranteed.
Yeesh.
Making him the highest paid kicker in the NFL. So congratulations, Justin Tucker.
Yeah, good for him. Wow.
Yeah.
So keep those feet safe.
He said, I think it was 63 yards last year,
something
64
like that,
yards. It's a bomb. So good for him. Highest paid kicker. We love to see it. The Jets signed Dwayne Brown, who's an outside tackle, 2 years, $22 million, because their outside tackle they currently have, forgive my pronunciation, Mekhi Becton. I only go by last names. So Becton blew up his knee. They didn't think it was a big injury, but after they looked at it, they said, yeah, this was pretty bad. So Jets signing a new outside tackle, that's always interesting. I like to give the Jets a little love.
Give them a bit of love.
They need it. They need it. So good for them. And then the Bengals get a new stadium name. Really? They are now the Paycor Stadium. If you had to guess what Paycor was, tell me, Connor.
Is it a cryptocurrency network?
Nope.
Is it a NFT network?
Nope. You're right on the software part.
Oh no, is it a fast food chain?
No, so
okay. Never mind.
Let me tell you.
Tell me.
Let me tell you. It is like an HR company.
Okay.
It's like
no, I do know. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like Workday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a Workday type thing, like calendar scheduling, HR, all that good stuff. They signed a big contract with the Bengals, and the Bengals tweeted saying it is now the Paycor Jungle.
Where is that jungle?
I don't know. In the desert.
What type of trees grow in a Paycor jungle?
I don't know. So that's the end. You know, that's the end for like player updates. But I did want to ask you quickly if this is the beginning of seeing like big tech companies and big corporate companies getting their way into the NFL.
In the NFL specifically, yeah, sure.
Right.
Like I think it's just something we'll see more. Right. Like Crypto.com Stadium.
Gross.
Gross. Like Crypto.com Stadium. Come on. But I do think we're gonna see more of it, right? They're making money. There's not much else you can do, right?
They're throwing the big bucks.
You want to buy the stadium? Make the money they're making.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like
I think it's interesting too because like we talked about a couple episodes ago about like Amazon football, Apple, the rights being up for sale.
Yeah.
This could be interesting. We could start seeing a whole lot of this, a lot of ads everywhere. Your food and your beer and stuff like that's always gonna be the NFL like sponsor staples and whatnot. But like the whole crypto scene and all that, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And now we just have big tech companies, like not even crypto guys. They're just
big tech.
Big tech, yeah. They've built big things. And then the last thing, football related, I want to talk about. You see Antonio Brown's Instagram yesterday?
No, I didn't.
Did you see anything
about
it?
Should I look at this? No.
Yeah, go look at it.
Okay, I'm just going to check it real quick.
So while you're looking at it, I'll talk about it. He posted on his Instagram yesterday or the day before saying, you know what his biggest regret as a player was?
What?
Not being able to watch himself play a game.
Hey, I can relate.
He goes on and he goes, yeah, I can always watch the game after. I can always watch film. But I can't imagine the feeling that you fans have when you're watching me play football. He says it's like watching Jesus perform an act.
It's like Kanye. It's some Kanye level stuff. He's been hanging with Kanye, hasn't he?
He has. Kanye hired him as a sports director for Kanye's company.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever that means.
So I'm like, Antonio Brown is just like, yeah, biggest regret. Can't watch myself play football because I'm too good, and you guys get the privilege of watching Jesus perform.
That's pretty funny.
Poor guy.
Which post is it?
Oh, maybe it's gone.
Oh, did he delete it?
Maybe it's gone. I did see it. Maybe it was his Twitter, but I thought it was his Insta.
AB's only got 10 million followers. What a loser.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just kidding.
And I'm like, man, like, you know, I'm sad you left the league because you are a great player, but let's
relax.
Let's hone this thing in there. Godspeed to Antonio Brown.
Godspeed. Okay,
so that's it for football.
Gee, that is a lot going on.
Yep.
Like, they're starting up soon. The NHL starting back up soon, which is crazy to say. It feels like the season just ended.
It's Stanley Cup playoffs a couple weeks ago. It feels
but
like.
You know what? Watching the World Juniors that's been on this summer, which is like they're picking it up because they had to cancel or I guess postpone during like Christmas and New Year's time there. But watching Team Canada play, it's reminding me like, you know what? I haven't watched like a Sens game in a long time because obviously they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we had hockey recently, but regular season hockey, I'm missing it. I'm already missing. Oh yeah.
Do you miss the consistency of hockey? Like coming home and there always being a game on?
I love it. And I miss watching like Sports Center when there's no hockey highlights, when there's no like 8 games the night before.
Yeah.
Sports Center is way more boring.
Yeah. Well, that's their bread and butter.
right. Yeah.
That's
so.
Just their thing,
there has been some news around the league though. Man, the Bruins, my Bruins, man.
I knew you'd be happy.
I'm so
I knew
happy.
it.
I'm like, they're making a push. I'm so glad they're not giving in this season. Don't give up, boys. Push for that cup. I think they can do it, but this is me talking as a blind. Like, I got my blinders on. I got my Bruins blinders on. Bergeron's back, baby. $2.5 million, 1 year. He's making a push. The captain's back. He only had the C on his chest for 1 season. Leave him around. This guy's a legend in the league. A legendary Boston Bruin. I'm so glad he's back for 1 more season. He had an amazing year last year. Patrice Bergeron, like my favorite player in the league. He's coming back. David Krejci's coming back from overseas. The Lord has sent him. David Pastrnak grabbed him and snuck him on his carry-on bag back to Boston. And I'm so happy.
You're pumped.
He signed 1 year, $1 million.
Yep.
The band's back together. I'm so happy.
So you think this is... So all these contracts, though, the 1 years...
Oh, such good deals, too.
They're good deals, but this just tells me this is it.
I think, yeah.
This is it. You're going to have your 1 year. Let's try and make the playoffs. Let's go on a run. After that...
maybe a retool. Like, yeah. I don't think they have to go straight to a rebuild. I don't think they have to, like, sell. But if they keep some of their key guys, retool them out, like... Bergeron, let's say he retires, Krejci's gone again. That frees up some cap space. Maybe this year get some rental guys, some guys who have 1 year left on their contract. Maybe, and this is like totally out of the blue, no word about this, but like getting a guy like Tarasenko from last year. Like people are talking about him maybe being a rental last season. So like getting guys that like can make a difference now and then maybe making that push, getting, some consistency on the back end. Like the possibility is there for Boston. I won't say too much more on it because I'm a Bruins fan. I'm very biased, but
no, it's good. Like, because we've talked about this a couple podcasts ago, saying we're not sure which direction the Bruins were going in.
Yeah, so I think we could see a good push this year and then maybe a retool heading into next season.
Yeah.
Around the rest of the league, some breaking news from yesterday.
This one hurts me.
Robin Lehner.
That hurts me.
Yeah, he's out for the whole year. Before the season even starts, his season is over after hip surgery. Vegas is a bit of a dumpster fire, to be honest.
They're gonna cut him because he's useless to them, so they're gonna be.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Something ridiculous and dump his contract somewhere.
They dump everything.
Yeah,
they're like
they just get rid of it.
Yeah, and so that's sad to see though, and some more information on Vegas comes from Max Pacioretty, who's out 6 months with a torn Achilles. Max Pacioretty was playing for Vegas last year. He got traded or he got sent to the Hurricane, Carolina. And he talked about Vegas saying that they had so little pressure in that locker room that it was like weird. Like Vegas now.
Too casual?
Yeah, like they don't care if you win. Well, they want good games. But like comparing pressure from there to a guy who used to be on like the Canadians.
Yeah, where every game is like a must win. Yeah.
If you get down 2 goals, the fans are leaving the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, he basically says that they need some of that urgency in the Vegas locker room that they just don't have yet because they're a more inexperienced organization, I guess.
Yeah, and if I may add to that, it's just because the way I look at it, I thought this would be a problem for a Vegas team in the NHL because the NHL put a Vegas team in there not because they wanted Vegas to be good, which they happened to be good the first year they were there, but because it's a moneymaker.
Yeah, but
that's what it is.
They do make money if they're good. They make more money if they're
good. But they make money when they're not good too. So I think for Vegas, it's kind of like other teams. It's like, oh, we didn't sell a stadium. Oh, I'm pretty sure Vegas fans percentages are pretty good all around
for right now. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, I just think teams in Vegas are weird.
That it'll be so interesting. There's a lot of hate around the league for Vegas.
Yeah.
Just because they're like that, the new guys on the block that got the fancy new toy. When they
helmet.
They think they're all cool. I don't hate Vegas. It'll be really interesting to see how the franchise continues going forward. But kind of the main point of that is that Max Pacioretty is going to be out 6 months, torn Achilles. That sucks. He could be a game changer for the Hurricane. Great player in Vegas.
The Hurricane can't catch a break.
They're on the brink. I think they're similar. I think they might be in a bit of a better spot than Florida. But I think those two are kind of in the same area. Like ready to make a really good run for the cup.
I thought last year they were gonna go on a little bit of a run.
So did I,
so
but
I was a little
I think
disappointed.
they're right around there.
Yeah.
Around the rest of the league, Nazem Kadri is still a free agent. There's been so many words around where he wants to go. Apparently, he wants to get paid a lot of money. He had a great season last year, but like, I don't know, like, go for it. If you can get your bag, sounds good. The most recent thing I've heard is that the Islanders are really pushing for him. I think they got a lot of contracts on the way. I heard 7x7.
That's what I heard too.
That's, may I say, too long. May I say, I don't think that's too bad for the money for Kadri. If you've got the cap space to spare, I don't think it's too bad, 7 mil. But for that long, that's like a big contract.
That's a commitment.
If you were signing him 7 mil, even like 3-4 years, I might be a bit more like lenient with it. But 7x7's a lot.
Yeah, if he could do, if you want, the thing is too, it's kind of weird because if he's negotiating it and we don't know what the negotiations are.
Yeah.
I feel like teams are more hesitant on the length than they are with the money. Like, it
depends.
Like, does he want the length? Like, does he want 7 years? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know.
Because a team, like you said, a team that says like 7 for 4 or 7 for 3 or like a 3 and an option.
Well, he wants as much money for as much time as he can get.
Yeah, so if he can but I feel if that contract doesn't come about, we might see some years get knocked back, right? If they can't come to an agreement, it's like, okay, we'll take some years off because they might not believe in you, but 7 years is a long time to be good and consistent.
He's been in the league a while too. Yeah, so Kadri is an interesting case. He could be a game changer for a team that he's on. It'll be cool to see where he goes. I don't think the Islanders are that bad of an option for him. There's some good talent there. Mm-hmm. A bit more of a low-key team looking to make a difference this year, so that'll be cool. The Rangers announced their first captain since Ryan McDonough in 2018.
That's crazy.
Jacob Trouba, who's a very consistent defenseman in the NHL. He's been on the team 3 seasons. His best year was last season, 39 points, 11 goals in 81 games. Got 88 PIMs, which you know, he is a very important player for the Rangers. But I think that the more interesting thing was that it wasn't Zibanejad. The interesting thing is not that it is Jacob Trouba, because I don't think he's a bad choice at all. He's a consistent guy, and they have shown that they like giving the C to these consistent, maybe even just like back end like defenseman guys. They did it with McDonough before, team guys. So I don't think that the interesting thing is that it is Jacob Trouba. I think that the interesting thing is that it's not Mika Zibanejad, that it's not Chris Kreider, these guys who have been on the team for a while, who Kreider obviously coming off a record season for him, 50 whatever goals.
You think they didn't want it?
I don't think, this is like based off nothing.
Of course.
I don't think Chris Kreider is the most well-liked fella from word I've heard. I'm sure around his team and with his teammates that they all like him.
But maybe not the poster boy.
But maybe not a good poster boy for the team. I don't know if he'd be able to like do that. And then Zibanejad's kind of the same thing, like not for being well liked, but maybe not like consistency based. He's had some ridiculous performances, like truly like noteworthy across the whole league performances. 4 goals like multiple times, right?
Yep.
Very impressive player, but
well, I think I just jump in on that, I think too, I forget who had the quote last week, or if you're a great player, sometimes it's better to be in that 3rd or 4th spot on the team, because you can still be like that number 1 point scorer without having that number 1 player pressure.
Well, Artemi Panarin, he's the other guy on the Rangers. That's a good point, and that kind of segues directly into him. He's new on the Rangers, and I don't think anybody was really expecting him to get the C, but I do think he's their best player. So that's a good point there. Yep, the Rangers, it's just a shakeup for the team. It's always good nice. For them. Yeah. I think every team, this is like not really a hot take, but it's just kind of like a whatever take that I have. I think every team should have to have a captain. Yeah. Not that it matters, but I just think like, why would you not have a captain? Like it's
5 A's.
I don't think it's that like big of a deal to like just be like you're the captain. Like it's not like
the 42nd captain
I bless you with the C. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a big deal to be the captain of the team, but I don't think it's like.
I think too, being the captain needs to go back to being the captain of the locker room.
Yeah, you should pick a guy. If there's nobody who's like coming out and your game breaker every game, then pick a guy who the younger guys can look up to. Someone who's got a good presence in the locker room. You know, like
make a speech every now and then.
I don't think it's that crazy.
No, but it's better than having like Detroit did that for a year. They had like 5-6 assistant captains skating around on the ice.
Well,
it's like, come on.
The only time I'd say it makes sense is like Vegas, a new team, and they had like 6 alternates the first year.
That's true.
The only other news in the league, JT Miller. This guy.
Interesting name.
You don't know. Yeah, honestly. 99 points, 32 goals last season in 80 games. And they started their contract talks with Vancouver. And he says they're nowhere close to what he wants. He recently speaking on a podcast, and he said, like, I forget if he was saying if this was for last season or for this coming season, but it was like, if I don't score in the first game, they're gonna like want me to take my gloves off and go home. That's
a little ridiculous.
Bad, like
what's
locker
this,
room.
F1?
Like it's just weird. Like Vancouver seems like such a weird locker room. It was the same thing I was thinking with Calgary. Their star players, they're like, it's almost like they don't want. They're like, you're our star player, but we don't want you to be our star player. We want a different star player. It's like, why? Like,
you have a star. Be grateful.
That's how I think about it. But I don't know. Like JT Miller, he could be a huge asset to some other teams. So I don't think it's too crazy for Vancouver to think maybe we should shop this guy around. If he's not a fit here, maybe he'll be a better fit somewhere else. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, why? I think that's a learning lesson for all managers, general managers and whatnot, is like, don't force something that doesn't fit.
Exactly. Don't force it. If the contract extension don't work, another team I'm sure will be happy to have him. He's a great player.
And get something for him. Like, look at Calgary, right? Okay, this is not going to work with...
Are you thinking Tkachuk?
Tkachuk. Well, both.
Yeah, but I think Tkachuk is a really good example.
It's like, this is not going to work. We're trying. He says no. He made it very clear that he doesn't want to be here, but he's not going to be a snake about it, and he's going to help you help him.
Yes. I think that was a very well-handled situation, too.
And it's like, it's a star player. You're going to take a big loss. The city's going to take a big loss.
But they get a star back.
Yeah, and that's what matters. And... there was a little bit of bad blood there. Like, the manager came out and did a little press conference. There was a couple of jabs there. But overall, crisis averted.
There should be some jabs, though.
You think so?
That's what makes it fun.
That's right.
That's all I got for sports, basically.
Yeah, so sports, I mean, even though, again, we say it's a slow week.
A lot going on.
Still a lot going on, but that's just because all the other sports back end are getting ready to go. So no matter what we say about sports, there's always stuff going on in sports. But let's move down to entertainment. Let's just jump right into it. I like just jumping from that.
Go for it. What do you got?
Not much entertainment on my end this week. I did watch Heat. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, 1995.
Okay.
I haven't seen it before.
No?
But it's like all over my Netflix all the time. And it's Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
Well, that's right up your alley.
So, yeah. So I was like, had to watch it. 2 hours and 55 minutes, though.
Bit of a trek.
It's a dedication. I watched it in 2 parts. I watched 2 hours and 10 minutes the first night. Waited for a good scene to pause. And picked up the last 40 minutes. Classic Robert De Niro and classic Al Pacino. I love it. Like that. Even though Al Pacino plays Al Pacino, it's amazing every time I watch it. Al Pacino plays the life-dedicated homicide detective that's super into his job. Family second, life is second. He's on his 3rd marriage. He's distant from his kids.
3rd marriage.
You know, he plays that classic.
Yeah.
That
like
classic detective. Yes, like disgruntled. Yeah. So he plays all that. Robert De Niro plays the classy, always in the shadows, burglar. You know, you can't catch him in his crimes, and he's always off into the shadows, and you don't know where he is. So it's a good dynamic between those two. The movie has a great pace all the way through. It's long, but great pace all the way through. I wasn't really bored at any point. I was like, there's some slower parts. Yeah. But they were still notable to the film. They weren't just... it wasn't a throwaway 3 hours. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we're making this 3 hours because it's Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. So, excuse me. I was happy that it was like that. Lots of plot twists, lots of turns and twists going all over that movie. The interesting part about that movie, though, is actually Al Pacino arguably has a crazy character development like throughout it, and I didn't expect that. I thought Al Pacino would just be like Al Pacino all the way through. But no, he ends up actually like having kind of a change of tides throughout the film, and towards like the 2.5 hour mark, I'm really like, oh wow, this is actually a really good performance. Yeah, I was like, this isn't just like an action film that you guys pieced together. Like this was actually well done. Robert De Niro, classic. So not much to say about it. It's just more like I watched it. If you're looking for something
like to
watch,
what would you compare it to? If you like this, you should watch Heat.
Oh man.
If you like,
that's hard. You put me on the spot.
But it's like a police detective type deal.
Yeah. It's crime. It's robbery. It's murder. It's everything kind of. It's a detective on the chase movie. So the crew.
A classic.
Yeah, like the crew that's pulling off the heist and the crimes, and then there's the detectives and the process behind it. So, very cool. Love it. Val Kilmer makes an appearance.
Oh, love him.
William Fichtner makes an appearance. Danny, I always forget how to pronounce his name. It's Trejo?
Yeah.
I want to say that.
I don't know.
Machete.
Yeah,
so he's in it. Natalie Portman's in it. There's a couple other standout actors in it and actresses. And yeah, really good. So if you're looking for something to watch, detective, crime, mystery, you'll like it. And then the other thing I'm watching right now is DB Cooper.
Is this new?
Where is he? Fairly new, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It only came out I think like a month ago or so. Like I know they were working on it for a little bit. I'm a little disappointed, not gonna lie.
Okay.
So it's a 4-part series.
4 parts on this?
4-part series, and they're each 40 minutes long.
For a mystery that we literally still don't know the answer to?
So, here's the problem with it. I actually love this story of DB Cooper. There's lots of people, YouTubers, and everybody that covers the story of DB Cooper. So everybody kind of knows the ins and outs of the story.
It's almost like we don't need a 4-part documentary about it.
Almost. But because it's Netflix, and Netflix usually hits pretty good on their limited series docs and their TV series docs and whatnot, I have to give it a chance. So it starts off really good. And then towards like the 20-minute mark, 30-minute mark of the first episode, it's fluff. It's like detective in a chair. This story makes you throw out your beliefs and makes you fight your own consciousness and makes you do this. Cut to another person. We just couldn't believe the story when it happened. And did you imagine a man doing this and jumping out of a plane with this money? Cut. Yeah, we had no idea who this guy was, and it was just crazy. Cut. Yeah, I just had no idea what to do. I'm sitting at my desk. I got all these papers. Crazy story. Cut. And it was just like that for like.
It's just people telling you
how crazy the story,
how unbelievable this thing is, and then they're not even showing you what it is.
And and I was just kind of like, oh, I get it.
I got you. This
I get
is crazy.
The story's good. So I'm like, okay, it was the end. They just wanted to really hype up the whole mystery part of it.
Yeah.
Couple notable things before I get into the second episode. Because the first episode is just like, they set the timeline, right? Everybody knows he boards the plane, slips the note to the stewardess.
There,
She doesn't read it. He goes, I need you to read that note. Reads the note. I have a bomb. Sit next to me. Oh my God, we're going to land the plane. Everybody's getting off. I need 4 parachutes and $200,000 in the bag right now. And we're flying. So they kind of set the scene there. But they do really good animation. Like it's more of an artistic animation. I want to say drawings type, but very
I got you.
Yeah, very cool animation. And not so much telling the story. It's more like just little aspects of the story. Like the plane going up. Animated, things like that. So I can appreciate when they're adding elements to try and make it more compelling because, like you said, it's a mystery story. We don't have anything. So that was kind of cool. And then the second episode starts. And they're going into who they think, after years of detective work.
Yeah. Investigation.
Who do we think this is? So they're going on, like, leads. They're telling us who the leads are. Oh, this guy fits it perfectly. And they go on for about 10 minutes. This is the guy. No, the stewardess said he had brown eyes. This guy has green eyes.
Close the case.
Yeah, literally, like, that's it. They don't talk about that guy for the rest of the show. Right. And it's like, so a stewardess, a very stressful situation. Guy has a bomb, wants money. You're sitting next to him. Very, very uncomfortable situation. Has sunglasses on. And you're gonna be like, oh well, she said he has green eyes, so case closed on this guy.
Weird. Yeah.
And they do that like for 3 different characters.
Where they just give one reason why it's not him, and then boom, they move on.
And it's like, oh well, if you compare the police sketch to the
it.
guy, they look so different. And it's like, well, you don't. Maybe the sketch isn't as accurate as we thought the sketch was accurate. Yeah. And then they go into another guy. Well, this guy was full of it, and he kept telling everybody he was DB Cooper, but we didn't believe him at all. Okay. So I'm at the 3rd episode. I'm gonna finish it. Of course, I'm gonna finish it. But yeah, overall, not like super impressed because I thought like this could have been 2 episodes, 40 minutes each, probably.
Yep.
That's it. I didn't because of each episode has about 15 minutes of I couldn't believe the story.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't need to hear that.
So we'll get your recommendation next episode when you finish it, I guess.
Yeah, maybe like once we get to like the detectives and the investigation comes to a conclusion. Because the same guy's been working the case for like 20 years and then leaves it, and then another guy picks it up for like the next 30 years. Yeah. So it'll be interesting, and they follow a guy around, and that's kind of where the episode left off, is that they were following one guy around, and they were like, why won't you just give us an answer if you're DB Cooper? Like the guy's going to tell you.
Yeah, literally.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes in the next episode, but that's what I'm watching right now. And you want to do what you're watching now?
Yep. Yeah. Well, no, what I watched.
Oh, yeah, what you watched, yeah. And then we'll do upcoming.
I saw the new Predator movie.
Yes.
I put a little teaser on Instagram. Mm-hmm. If you guys saw it, I'm going to keep doing stuff like that. We'll keep posting little things we're watching or sports that are coming up, things like that. But I watched Prey, the first Predator movie, I think, where they don't have Predator in the title.
Okay.
But it was really cool. It's on Disney Plus. Only an hour 40 minutes, so it's a short movie, action packed, basically start to finish. Amber Midthunder, I've never heard of her before.
Great
she
name.
plays Naru.
Okay.
In the movie. Her brother, Dakota Beaver, I forget her brother's name, but he was fantastic too. Some basically the only like standout like characters in the movie. But basically this is a Predator movie where a predator, like alien dude, I don't really know what to call him, a predator guy, comes down to Earth in 1719, and into the northern Great Plains of North America, where there are indigenous peoples living there, and wants to do his predator things. He wants to like kill the apex predators and
of course,
and prove that he's the strongest, warrior dude. This is coming from a guy who's not the biggest Predator fan. I wouldn't say I'm like entrenched in the history of like the Predator franchise. But awesome movie. Like highly recommend. Super fun. Short. Action scenes were great.
Yeah.
Really creative fight scenes. She fights with like her whole story is like she's trying to prove that she's like a hunter, like a worthy hunter for the group.
Mm-hmm.
And she hasn't quite been able to do that yet. She's had her opportunities and she hasn't really been able to like, pull that trigger to kill that bear, do that whatever. But she starts training super hard. She has her tomahawk that she ties on like a rope. Nice. So it's super sick. She chucks the tomahawk, it like hits a thing, and then she pulls it back and like into her hand.
Oh.
And then she pulls it back, catches it. It was super cool. The fight scenes were awesome. Really wide shot, creative stuff. So you could see the whole thing, not a bunch of cuts. Really, apparently they've been developing this concept of like the Predator going to different time periods and like fighting different like groups of people or different like individual people since like 2016. This has been like an idea that they've been working on. What?
It's just funny because the franchise has been around for so long,
forever.
And it's like, what else can we do?
It's like, because they don't need franchises like this. They think that the people want to see like the characters come back, and they want to, this is this guy's son who now has, nobody cares. No. They just want a cool movie, and I think this is a perfect direction for the franchise to go.
Killing aliens.
Kill the aliens, kill the people, super bloody. Yeah. Like, people are getting like sliced in half, like their heads getting like ripped out, their spines getting like.
So it still followed the Predator.
Oh yeah,
gruesome.
This guy is
a
predator. Very impressive. Fights like a bear. It was awesome.
Good.
Highly recommend.
And that's on what platform?
Disney Plus. An hour 40 minutes. Watch it.
It's for the kids.
You have Disney Plus. Everybody has Disney Plus. Basically,
I guess
I say that.
But it's funny. It's funny seeing titles like that on Disney Plus.
I don't know why. My last thing I'll say on Predator, highly recommend. Some all-time great Predator moments. Why was this not in theaters?
Yes, I was surprised because you told me this when we were casually walking around upstairs. That it was a skipped release film.
They have this deal right now where stuff's getting released in theaters and then 45 days later it's being put on digital platforms.
Weird.
But they just don't do it sometimes. They just decide to go straight to Disney Plus. I mean,
that's unfortunately
that's just how it goes sometimes.
Theme, yeah.
But then, yeah, I don't want to get into the whole thing with HBO and
no, but I do want to hear your next thing.
For Nope.
I want to hear this.
I saw Nope.
I want to hear it.
I really liked it.
Okay.
Not a horror movie.
Noted.
People go into this thinking that they're gonna Get Out. This is a new movie by Jordan Peele. You think you're gonna Get Out. You think you're gonna get Us. You're not.
You think? Hold on, before we continue.
Yeah.
You would qualify Get Out as a horror film? I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, I'd say
really?
Get Out's definitely maybe a suspense.
I would
thriller.
say a little bit more of maybe like a suspense psych thriller. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it as a horror film, but I can see it. So,
I'd say Get Out's like a psychological thriller. A psychological horror maybe. because of the scenes with like the hypnotizing, the creepy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is more of I'd say a thriller, a sci-fi thriller, suspense
in that bracket.
It was pretty awesome in my opinion. The cinematography was killer. Like the night shots where they shot it in IMAX.
Yeah, I saw that.
The screen is a bit like bigger. Mm-hmm. It's like taller. And what they do with like getting the night sky in behind the characters' like heads and like in the backs of the shots, it looks beautiful and it's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
The like little things that they do to like incite like fear and like mystery and intrigue, they do it so well and so subtly that like it gives you the feeling. It gave me the feeling of like being like a kid and like you see the thing and you're like, oh, there it is.
So I'm glad they made use of the IMAX because it's like you can say it's shot on IMAX. Yeah, whatever. The quality difference, okay. But that's interesting because it is a different aspect ratio. So that is different to have that.
So there was a couple storylines in it. Basically two main ones. The one going on with the main characters in modern time, and then they were expanding on a thing that happened in the past. And the thing that happened in the past, like no spoilers, obviously, I thought was very like Jordan Peele-esque, and I thought it was really, really neat, and it really like connected well with the like main plot that was going on. And I think in future watches of the movie, it's just gonna enhance the experience.
Okay.
So definitely recommend Nope. In terms of cast, Daniel Kaluuya, who was also in Get Out, he played a more reserved character in this, didn't talk very much, did a great job with that, had some really like brooding, you could tell that he was just like, you felt what he was going through. They go through a tough time at the start of the movie, and you could tell that he's dealing with that throughout this incredibly like crazy plot. You can tell that the early stuff in the movie is still really weighing on him. His sister in the film, Keke Palmer, absolutely a standout.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good like she was so good in the movie, like electric. Every line she had was so funny.
That's good.
There was really only two other, and then Steven Yeun. He plays Jupe. Jupe is his name, and his storyline was, I think, the most interesting. If you watch the movie and you really like think about like where his character's coming from, and like you go back and you think about his motivations and like why he's doing the things that he does, which I guess is his motivations. It's stuff like that that makes you want to rewatch the movie.
Okay.
He has a very interesting character development throughout it.
And how long is it?
I don't know. 2 hours 9 minutes. So
not bad.
I might be lying. That might be Bullet Train. I don't know. I look up a bunch of movie times and then they kind of get mixed up, but I think it was just over 2 hours, maybe 2 hours 17.
Okay. So that's definitely a recommend.
Definitely a recommend. Don't go into it expecting anything. Just go into it thinking you're gonna watch a cool movie.
That's it.
Not crazy action packed for all of it. Some of it's a bit slower.
Well, I know the trailer, they have that horse scene.
Yes. But there's also some really cool stuff. So yeah,
cool.
Definitely recommend. Do I have any other notes on it?
Yeah, my for Nope.
Yep, nope, that's it. Yeah, good movie. Jordan Peele, you come out with more stuff, I'll keep watching it. They offered one thing I'll say on this, I saw this on a YouTube video, so this is not I didn't come up with this or whatever, but there's a really good reference to have you ever seen Akira? It's like an anime movie.
No.
But there's a really good reference to that, and it's this super famous like motorcycle anime movie from Japan, like super iconic, and they offered Jordan Peele to direct a live action version of it. They were like, we want you for this, and he turned it down because he said he wanted to focus on more original content.
Good for him.
Love that.
Good for him.
I just wanted to bring that up because I love that.
Yeah, I appreciate when someone's like, no, I'm not going to do your reboot or
whatever.
Prequel, sequel.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's good. I'm glad. I'll definitely see it. I don't know when I'll see it, but I'll definitely see it. Then we're going to switch gears to upcoming stuff.
Yeah, what's coming up?
Again, not much from me. I got one upcoming thing that I'm really looking forward to. Is the trailer for The Menu came out.
The Menu.
Starring Anna Taylor-Joy.
Oh, Anya Taylor.
Yes. So
interesting.
And Ralph, again,
Fiennes.
I know who you are.
Fiennes.
Yes, but I always want to say Fiends. Fiends.
He who must not be named.
So it's actually crazy. I watched the trailer a couple times because I was like, wow, that was a really good film.
Okay.
The trailer gave me so much, and I love trailers that do this. You give me so much, but you give me nothing.
That's the best. That's what you want, right?
You give me nothing, and I love it. So, trailer opens up, Anna Taylor-Joy and Nick Hoult. Okay. They are the two going on this adventure. They got on a boat, head to the island. First of all, once the boat heads to the island, you know what type of movie you're getting into. I'll pretend.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they got onto the boat and they're like, "Oh, where are we going?" And it's a fine menu resort. We're gonna go to experience an immersive menu of food. Sounds interesting. So you get into it and they're like, yeah, they get there and it's like, oh yeah, this is what we do. This is the food. They're taking around kind of like the kitchen in the first couple seconds of the trailer. And it's like, yeah, we do foams and whips and gels. And it's like, we gel and we gel. It's kind of a little joke. So, and I just really like it. Yeah. So when you watch the trailer, I think it was a good spot. So then they get into it and it's like, oh, Ralph Fiennes plays the chef that the movie is going about. And it's like, yeah, we're going to be eating his food. He's an artist. He's a storyteller. And the whole point of the game, this is a quote, like the whole point of the game is that you're tasting the whole menu, but you don't get to know what the overall theme of the menu is until you're at the end, but you have to guess. Interesting.
Is this like a psychological thriller vibe?
So
yeah, I follow.
So they say that right at the beginning is that at the trailer. It's like a 2-minute and 30-second trailer. Like, yeah, that's the theme. You don't know what the theme is. You won't know until the end. Awesome. So then the trailer does a really good job at just switching paces, like right when he says that, of course. And they kind of get into like, oh, who are you? What are you doing here? To Anna Taylor-Joy. And the chef's like, are you one of them or you one of us? But you have no idea what he's referring to as them. So I thought that was super interesting. And then it continues to go into... gets very dark and what appears to be violent. You don't see the violence, but you kind of know the violence. There's a little, there's some blood splatter and stuff that you get to see in the trailer that kind of gets you into it. Gets
intense, yeah.
And they're like in the food that he's serving. It's like the guest information. So like he serves a pancake, and on the pancake, it's like the guest list with all their information on it.
On the pancake,
and it's kind of weird like that. So it's like, and everyone's like, to get this information, stuff like that.
Okay,
and
this sounds cool.
It's cutting around and whatnot, and then shit starts to go crazy, and there's screaming, there's yelling, and he's like, "I'm gonna give you a 45-second head start," and then it just cuts to somebody running, and he's like, "Okay, 45 seconds starts now." So you're like, "Well, that's what I mean. The trailer's giving you so much, but nothing."
It sounds crazy. Okay,
and then a bunch of craziness happens, and then it just says you can hear Ralph in the back, and he goes, "It's what you paid for. It's all part of the menu." And then I was like, that you got cool. Me.
Yeah,
I'm in. Cool.
So
check it out for sure. The Menu.
Watch the trailer.
Yeah. Watch the trailer. It's great. I didn't see the release day on it. That's my bad. I'll do better next time. So yeah, it was pretty good. And then the other thing, DC made a little bit of announcement. DC says they are restructuring the DC universe and the business of Warner Brothers and DC. They're taking their inspiration now for this new era from the structure of the MCU.
Oh, you got the press release from 10 years ago?
So.
No, press release from 5 years ago.
So they said it again.
God.
And I just want to say, on behalf of all of us, if you really follow through with it this time, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, but also, this isn't the place. Maybe it is.
This isn't the place. What other place?
This is the place
there?
to get into the whole like Batgirl situation. You can say all the corporate nonsense you want about money and about your demographics and about like writing off pictures as losses and making your money back from it because you don't think it'll make enough money, but don't just sink money into these projects and then cancel them.
Just release it on something.
They can't. If they release it and then they don't make enough money back, then that's it. But if they cut it and they count it as a loss and they make a percentage of the money back that they wouldn't necessarily get if they released it.
But where does that money come from?
From like, well, because
from like their deals.
If they put it as a loss,
yeah,
and they just like that's the thing. I can't get into it because I'm not like
yeah, I don't know enough, yeah,
but I have watched a bunch of stuff on it and they're making business decisions, which is like okay, I get you got to make some of these decisions, but they're cutting a ton of original content and they're kind of screwing over a lot of, well, obviously they're screwing over a lot of people.
Their actors and stuff.
And their crews. And it's like, okay, you spend months and millions and millions of dollars making these movies and you just cut it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, like, we'll see what they do going forward. But like Crave and Warner Brothers and everything, they think they know what they're doing. We'll see if they do.
The thing to add just to that too is I'm kind of happy maybe they cut it because they released that statement too, and then the whole Batgirl thing. It's like, okay though, you release a statement saying you want to do a change, you guys want to be a different universe now, and you want to reformat everything, not start fresh, but you want to get a little bit of a clean start. And if Batgirl's the first thing you're going to release after you release that statement, and you're like, hey, we're not sold on this, we're not confident in this picture, and we are serious this time that we are seriously changing. I'm okay with you cutting Batgirl for now if you don't think that that's what fit your new rebrand. But I would like to see Batgirl maybe released after your next 2 movies or something like that.
Or something.
Because obviously there was a little bit of hype around it. Not much, but there was a little bit. I heard about it a couple times.
More hype now that it's canceled.
Yeah, but Batgirl also never got her own film.
No.
So I think that was really interesting. But hey, we'll see what happens.
And like they're keeping the Flash, which don't even get me started. But the Flash movie is continuing.
Yes, but I guess so. There's 3 options for the Flash movie. Good segue. 3 options. They are going to cut the film completely, which would be over a $220 million loss.
They said they weren't going to do that. But
that's it. They said they weren't going to do it. So they were going to keep the film and do no press release or press touring. They're going to keep it on. So that's fine because the movie it's DC, so it won't sell itself, but superheroes sell.
Yep.
So they can do that. Or they were going to scrap the movie as a loss and reshoot. I don't think they'll do that. Really
sounds like a great restructuring of the DC business.
Exactly. So it's like, again, the Flash, if you're confident in the Flash movie, I'm not saying anything about the actor. You're confident in the film.
The guy's crazy.
He is crazy. DC obviously only cares about the movie. So from a DC point of view, if you're confident that this will spark a new era,
then go for it.
You guys do you, but be prepared to lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay, let me bang out a few upcomings and then we'll close it out today. Sonic 3, the movie everybody's been clamoring for.
That's on my top.
Yes, it's my most anticipated movie of December 2024 because that's when it's coming out.
Okay.
The release date, I love when they do this. Exactly December 20th, 2024 is when this movie's coming out. They can tell you exactly 2.5 years in advance. It's exactly it'll be ready. But that's the plan. December 2024, Sonic long. 3. I love Ben Schwartz, who voices Sonic.
Yeah.
Because like I've been watching him since like he was on College Humor back in the day, like on YouTube.
That's a while ago.
Love the guy. So I don't care. That sounds great.
Cool.
Sandman's out also. I'm gonna be watching that.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet.
Sandman. Why does that sound familiar?
It's based off a graphic novel, and apparently it's good. It's like a sci-fi crazy, like not sci-fi, but it's like a mystical kind of crazy.
Okay.
Kind of superhero-y movie, or not movie, like limited series, and that's hit my radar because of all the good reviews, all the Comic-Con stuff that happened about it. Unfortunately, I'm busy right now binge watching, but soon I'll be on to Sandman. They also announced a Joker sequel.
I saw
with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga.
I also saw it as Harley Quinn.
No, did you? Is that?
I'm pretty sure it was as Harley Quinn. Is what?
I hope not. But I didn't hear that. But maybe
that's
don't
quote
the rumor.
me on that.
No,
I did hear that.
That might be the rumor going on right now. But
I mean that makes sense.
Yeah,
right.
It does.
Doesn't that make sense a little bit? And because the cool thing about this Joker, it's separate.
Yeah, just do your own thing.
Everybody remember, this Joker is different than the other Jokers in the DC universe. This is completely different.
Yeah, I don't think they have to make a big deal about it either. Just be like, this is different.
You did such a good job the first one.
It's just a movie.
It was a great movie. That's the thing. It was a movie. It wasn't a superhero movie.
A setup to like a whole thing. Just
big fight scenes. Cool movie. It was a good movie. So and keep doing that.
That sequel is set for October 4th, 2024.
Oh, I'm busy that day.
I actually have a schedule. I have tea time booked. And the last upcoming thing that I thought was cool was they announced that Daredevil will have a role in She-Hulk. It won't just be a cameo. So that's cool. And his suit looks awesome. He's got the yellow suit.
Is this the regular Marvel Universe?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
This is like the canon Marvel Universe. Daredevil, who's going to be getting a show coming up soon. Yeah, that's cool. Cool. I will say now I can't watch She-Hulk until I finish all the Netflix.
True.
The Netflix Marvel shows, which are now not even on Netflix, but now that's gonna have to be on the back burner until I finish Daredevil and Punisher, and then Jessica Jones, whatever. So that's okay though.
I mean, that's the thing. There's tons of Marvel content, and if you're gonna watch it the right way, good for you for watching it the right way. So I think that rolls us up for entertainment, and I do just want to get this headline out quick before we wrap up.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I loved it.
Maybe like 10 seconds.
Yep. So as we sit here. And I find this headline literally this morning. Can't be real. So, a young brown bear.
Okay.
A young brown bear. Walking around in the forest in Turkey.
Okay.
Stumbling, and he's like frozen, and he's like rolling over.
Like it's cold?
He's like sitting, and he's just doing weird things that bears don't do.
Okay.
So I'm watching this video, and that's how I stumbled across the article, because I saw this video first. And it's just a weird looking bear doing weird things. So I click on the article. A young brown bear was rescued after being found disoriented and intoxicated from consuming a large amount of hallucinogenic honey.
Let's go!
But he was tripping. The bear was examined by veterinarians in Turkey on a southern province.
And they came to the conclusion he was lit, boy. Let's go.
Literally, they found that it was caused by an indigenous species called rhododendron. I can't pronounce that, so
of course,
sorry.
Of course.
It's a pink flower.
Okay.
The honey is known as mad honey, and it's easily accessible in certain regions of the area to bears, and it causes them to go into a multi-hour hallucinogenic state of mind.
And you can order some on our website,
so
/CORNERMEN, 10% off.
The video, don't forget to hit the link.
Link in the description.
So the video ends with the bear in the back of the pickup truck, like legs spread, like sitting up in the truck, like arms kind of crossed, just
posted up. He's on the come down.
And then they get him into the vet, and then the video has the vet, and he's just like snoozing, like laying on this table, and they're like, I don't even think they had to sedate him or anything like that.
No.
He was just there, and then he just starts kind of rolling and mumbling around, and they're like, yeah, he's tripping on honey right now.
Absolutely tripping.
So I thought that was hilarious. They brought him to the vet. They let his system clear up. They treated him a little bit to, I guess he had a couple minor things going on. Anyway, treated him, and he will be released tomorrow.
Well, that is good news.
Yes. So Buddy had the time of his life. But what's to say this doesn't happen again?
He spoke to the bear gods.
The bear goes, I know where that honey is.
Yeah, he's having a rough day at work, and he's like, I need to escape.
Yeah.
I need to escape.
And I guess he ate just enormous amounts of it, too. So that's what.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Jeez, okay, that's a good way to end on.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching and listening. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like the show. You subscribe to the channel. Subscribing's free of charge. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. We're going to post some segments from this. We've got lots going on. Lots going on next week, so make sure you stay tuned. We'll have another episode coming out, hopefully shortly. I'm away for the start of next week.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll record right when I get back.
Mid to late next week.
Lots going on.
Yeah.
More F1 updates hopefully coming.
Yeah.
Fight cards are coming up. Big pay-per-views on the way for UFC.
F1 predictions for the second half of the season. So that's all going to be good. More definitely entertainment, all that stuff. More movies and TV shows will be announced, and we'll do our best to tell you about it. So.
Thank you guys for watching. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.